It's been reported both on Broadway and over here in London's alleged glittering West End that theatre is doing incredibly well. In fact, over the last year, box offices have risen and theatre and more people are going to see wonderful shows more than ever before. I'm a little suspicious about that particular statement simply because if you think about it, previously, the year before and the year before that, everything was closed down, wasn't it, due to the COVID-19 pandemic? So really, how could you base that on anything other than perhaps the latter part of 2019? But it's interesting also with theatre because it's going through such a very testing time. Not only are ticket prices rising, but also there's a true lack of new theatre stars coming through. And I don't mean that in a rude way, but when you think about it, say back 20, 30 years ago, you knew the mega stars of the world of theatre, didn't you? When you think about it, they're still with us. People like Bernadette Peters, Elaine Page, Sarah Brightman, Michael Crawford. They could literally sell tickets around the world based on their talent and their name, and still can. So it's interesting to note now that this particular company have decided, in order to make sure that theatre goers behave, they're going to do this. As ever, let me explain. Hi, good morning. Neil Sean here in the very heart of London. Now, as someone who's trod the boards for many years, let me tell you, it is a difficult world in the world of theatre, particularly if you're in a thing like a musical. Comedy is a lot easier because you can change your act to suit your mood and what's actually happening in the news. The treadmill of a nightly musical can be incredibly exhausting, whether you're in Les Mis or Phantom of the Opera. It's not easy. But the problem now is this. According to a major theatre producer, they're deciding to change exactly what they put on the business hoardings outside. They are the big posters, in particular using phrases like the best party in town, or indeed a spectacular fun night out. This is because, allegedly, audiences have become more and more rowdy, and they can't control the audiences, particularly with the ushers. But it's quite simple, really. It's not about the ushers or indeed the audiences. If you think, say, 10, 15, 20 years ago, you had a limited time to have a drink in the bar. You bought your drink in the interval, you drank it and you returned, perhaps having an ice cream or something like that. Now you're encouraged to stock up on drinks before the opening performance and then even more drinks, absolutely, after the performance is finished in the interval. So you're allowed to take all those drinks into the theatre, right, during the performance after the interval. And so, of course, people get rowdy, start to fall out, talk, get their phones out, start filming. This has become the bigger problem. Now, the bigger problem is simply this. It's not the audiences, it's the lack of control. Theatre bosses want to make sure they make as much money from their bars and snacks and confectionery. So it's their own fault, while the audiences are simply not learning how to behave in this rather more freer and radical society. The bottom line is also, if you don't let these people buy drinks and carry on drinking throughout the performance, they could possibly simply not turn up to the theatre at all. Nobody likes being restricted. The bigger problem also now is that ushers cannot simply stop people from filming in the theatre. This is because we live in a digital world. Everybody has a phone. Everybody wants to record the moment and then claim, I was there, put it on their own digital platforms or whatever they wish to do. It's a bigger problem moving forward, and one that theatre simply can't solve itself. The only downside to that is, will it bring down the safety curtain on the bar, of course, in the interval and at the start? Will they limit drinks? Or will it simply go back to the fact that people either sneak miniature bottles in, or indeed simply not turn up at all? I'd love to know, have you encountered rowdy or bad behaviour during a performance that you've gone to see? And does this put you off? And are theatre bosses actually doing enough to make sure that you feel that you're protected, but more importantly, enjoy the very heavily expensive performance that you paid to see? As ever, let me know what you think in the comment boxes below. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.